Alright. It is time for another episode of the Florencio Files. Looks like it's going to be a TVP. I actually thought Florencio was going to be the Protoss when I opened this replay. It was titled in the replay pack, Don't Look Away. Up here in the top left, the Terran player representing StarCraft. It is Florencio. He's a man of many names, isn't he? Down here in the bottom right, his opponent is Victim Obzen. Remember, guys, even when you beat Florencio, you are still one of his victims because you have to go through the torture that is playing the very different form of StarCraft that it is playing against him. You see a gas first opening from Flo this time around. I feel like he was doing a lot of barracks gas, but he's going to be doing gas first this game. All right. But I think that probe's going to get in and scout. Flo here does start mining that gas. And yeah, I feel, what is it? Flovid19, Dexter, Dexterminator. He's had a lot of good names. I'm trying to remember all of my favorite Florencio aliases. Does anyone shout out your favorite Florencio Smurf account / alias? And we're gonna try and rate the best. I still think Flovid19 may have been the greatest because it's just this unstoppable society-breaking disease that nobody saw coming, and that's kind of what it's like when you play Flo on the ladder. You know, you're like, what the fuck? Like, this is this is a terrible thing. No one was prepared. And then there's that one really salty guy who's like on Reddit, and he's like, no, excuse me, I'm a medical professional. I actually have been writing essays on Reddit about the threat of infectious Protoss play, and how if we let it go long enough with corner bases, cannon rushes, and all the rest, that it would actually spread through our StarCraft society to the point where it would become an epidemic of cheesy fucking idiots, and how none of them know how to play macro, and it would ruin the ladder for all of us. We would all have to put up bunker masks. You know, people say, I don't want to build a bunker mask. I don't want to oppress my economic freedom. You can't do that. I live in the free world of StarCraft. I don't want to build bunkers or safety shield batteries. But now we've let the disease spread. We've let it spread. I've been warning about this for years. People said, it's not going to happen. It's fine. Cheese is part of StarCraft. Is it? Is it part of StarCraft to have a dickhead constantly build his base in the corner of the base? To build a fucking nexus in your base? Or a guy who builds a hatchery in your fucking base and then tries to build spine crawlers in it? Is that what you want? Because it's your sitting at the helm, not taking things seriously and going, oh no, it's fine. We'll just crowd 5,000 cheeses into one ladder and say it's all fine. Oh, it's a different approach to StarCraft, but it's okay. Now look what's happened to our freedoms. We all have to have all these safety precautions. We have to try and socially distance ourselves from the cheese or we die. You know, look at this shit. It's not fair. So I do think Flovid19 was probably the most fitting name. And in case you think I'm just joking, there are still people who occasionally send me a message telling me that I am literally helping to spread cancer in the StarCraft ladder by promoting Florencio. It's actually, they're like, no, I played a guy who cannon rushed, and it's your fault for showing people that Florencio can win games without knowing how to fucking play the game properly. And I'm like, whoa, guys, it's not that hard to defend a cannon rush. They're like, you shut the fuck up. It's so fucking easy to do it. It's so hard to stop. And I'm like, well, okay, not going to win this argument anytime. I'm like, to be fair, I do feel a little bad because I am a bit of a macro elitist at heart. I mean, half of this show is me kind of looking at the horror that is Florencio's strategy and then seeing it kind of work when it should never work and going, how'd that happen? And my brain wrinkles a little bit. And I mean, at this point, I've told you guys, my brain has slowly been folding in on itself, trying to understand Florencio's play. Like right now, he's like, I need a missile turret in my main base and a fusion core before using that reacted factory that I built 2 minutes ago. He's like, oh, I guess I'll build it now. By the way, it's not even a medevac. It's proxy widow mines that are going to walk in and then a battle cruiser, planetary and the natural, still no orbital in the main. Because why would you ever want to have an extra 500, 700 minerals at this point in the game? That's just stupid. It's for try-hard cucks. I feel at some point we're going to get the full scientific explanation as well from Flo. It's going to be like his warp gate explanation. I'm like, dude, why don't you ever make an orbital in your main? And he's like, well, you know, basically, if people see I don't have an orbital, they're going to think, hey, he doesn't have detection. I should make invisible units like Dark Templar, but I build missile turrets to already counter them trying to counter me not having an orbital. And I'll be like, but you can just have like 2,000 more minerals and like what, like if they don't even go the invisible units to punish your lack of an orbital, you're sacrificing thousands of minerals to try to bait them into something. This is so bloody inefficient just for one potential payoff. And he'll just smile at me and be like, but 90% of the time it works every time. And I'll be like, no, it doesn't. And he'll be like, you don't know how to count good. And I'll be like, yeah. And then, you know, okay, guys, we should probably talk about the game at hand. Obzen, okay, realizes it's not a good idea to fight the planetary. Get up the ramp, get away from the planetary, mate. Loses like 5 stalkers there, but he's in the main. A planetary is very slowly trying to erect itself here. The stalkers and the immortal feel bad. They're like, oh, dude, look at how embarrassing that is. He can't even get it up. He's trying to perform. He can't even get it up. Okay, they do say, actually, look, it is starting to get a little engorged. We should probably stop that going any further. They're like, oh, okay, we should get over here and do some damage, but his flow once again, oh, he's losing so many SCVs, holy shit. The Stalkers and Immortals though, not focus fired, so they're just gonna fight the planetary, and yes, he may have taken a while to get it up, but this old planetary knows how to fuck. And that Immortal, realizing it is outgunned as a 40-foot chode, blasts its Ibex cannon at him, and he's like, all right, I'll back off over here. Probably not the best idea to 1v1 the planetary. I'll chill the fuck out. He's trying to build more Immortals, some Florencio macro, queuing 3 Immortals at a time, making more Stalkers. The SCVs do need to go back to mining, or Flo's going to be in trouble. The first BC flies in, enters the base. 3 Stalkers and a shield battery could cause problems. No! You fucking donkey. Who the fuck? He set up mines on the low ground and baited the Stalkers there with the battle cruiser. Oh, you fucking show off, Florencio. Such a fucking show off, man. He has an armory as well, so these are invisible until an observer gets out. He's got one, but he's left it over on Flo's side of the map. These Stalkers are gonna recall. The battlecruiser's like, oh no, please, don't chase me down, Stalkers. The Stalkers are like, wait, what? What's going on? What's going on? What is this? Is he hacking? Where do these explosions keep coming from? And battlecruiser's gonna come back and chase that Immortal down. And we'll get itself a bit of repair action there as well. Oh my god, tries to build, was that a cannon or a battery or something? Now let's see if Obzen knows how to make detection. We're on Obzen's camera. Obzen is moving the Immortal around and just fucking looking at it. And he's gonna make more Stalkers. He's like, how do I kill those? Oh, they can see them. Wait, I can't see them anymore. What the fuck?
Has been depleted.
How does this work? Were they invisible? Were they not invisible? Wait, there's more there. I thought they all ran away. I better kill that supply depot wall on the low ground. Destructible plate. That'll help. Let's scroll around a little bit. Okay, maybe I should... Oh, I should build an observer. Oh, it sees invisible. Oh, look, I have an observer on my screen. No, not going to use it. Say a battlecruiser. We're just going to run away with more Immortals. Maybe if I steer my Stalkers and Immortals at home on top of the winter mines, I'm gonna win the game. Holy fuck. Look at this player, look at his camera. Oh god, this is like watching your grandma try and navigate to the start menu. You're like, okay, just open the start menu, grandma. She's like, what's the start menu? And you're like, grandma, in the bottom left, just click in that. She's looking at her keyboard, she starts hitting the bottom left control button. You're like, no, with your mouse, grandma. She's like, oh, the mouse. You know about the mouse we have? He's been stealing scraps in the kitchen. You're like, no, grandma, no, the computer mouse. She's like, the bottom left with the mouse, she starts fucking pressing the screen. You're like, what are you doing, grandma? You just, you shouldn't. You take the computer. Did he just do it again? There was more widow vines down. He set it up again. Grandma is getting absolutely fudged. At this point, you're on grandma's computer and you're like, Granny, why are there 300 pop-ups? She's like, well, the nice Nigerian prince emailed me and he told me if I just downloaded this one here. And I'm like, literally there's 16 people going through your desktop remotely as we speak, grandma. She's like, oh, that's very nice. What's that mean? Is it like a remote control car? like with the kids play. Like, no, people are stealing your personal information and they've taken out 36 credit cards under your name. And basically there's warrants out for you for, you know, basically being $56,000 in debt. She's like, oh, okay. What's that? That's essentially watching this player try and figure out what the fuck detection is. It's still got 3 observers out. They're all on the other side of the map. While the Immortals and Stalkers are running around like a headless chicken. He's gonna, no, not a, oh my God. Oh my God. How, I showed you last time, Grandma, where the mouse is. This Protoss does not learn, just keeps walking. Oh, the battlecruiser's over the cliff, we better chase it. It's like, it's great, because whenever they're unburrowed, the Protoss runs away from them, whenever they can see them, right? But then what happens is they're invisible, and he forgets. He's like, just the memory of a goldfish. At this point, I really do think we're getting to that point where we're calling tech support. Grandma's calling tech support. She's like, I need some help with my Protoss. She's like, oh, yes, what seems to be the issue, Mrs. Obzen? Well, I need to click the icon to see my emails. Oh, yes. So are you trying to click it? Yes, I have the icon on my desktop, but I can't click on it. And he's like, okay, well, he's like explaining how to click with the mouse. She's like, yes, I understand. My son showed me how to do that. However, I've run out of space on the mouse pad, so I can't get the cursor any further over to bring the observers home to have detection. He's like, excuse me? I've run out of space on the mouse pad. How do I... Because the cursor, it can't reach, and there's no more space. Okay, Obsen, so what you want to know, what you want to do, is you want to lift your mouse up, and you want to move it to the other part of the mouse pad, and then continue moving it. Obsen's like, well, that's fucking annoying. I can't see the mine after they go off. Woo! That was a game. This player, I guess, didn't hear about that patch change. Has come back to the game and is just, holy shit, run around like a headless chicken. I got to give it to Florencio because it was such a hilarious thing, just try to bait them into that setup. And I could imagine that if there were observers, Flo would have been scanning and trying to snipe them with the Widow Mines and the Battlecruiser. Like, you could tell this was one of those 0/300 IQ game plans from Flo. But he never really got to fully put it into action because the other guy kept just not even using detection. He was like, oh, I don't even have to kill the observer. This observer was just sitting here the entire time. He built 2 more observers and didn't even set the rally home and just stared at the Widow Mines for like 15 minutes and just kept walking stalkers in them. It was actually amazing as well because right, remember when the first one came in? Like this was actually brilliant, right? Okay, the first one, totally forgiving. You walk in, the Widow Mines take you out. But then it got hilarious. It was like, wait, we're not going to run probes away. We're going to recall stalkers, but not the observer. We're going to chase the battlecruiser. Even that one is a little forgivable. But then it's like the next sequence of 5 minutes of just trying to build shield batteries on top of the Widow Mines and walking stalkers and immortals through the Widow Mines. Like, what exactly are we trying to achieve here? It was... It's like, oh, he's running away. He just kept walking into them. This is some Benny Hill shit. Like, how? Oh my god. Well done, Florencio. I love that. The ultimate, the battlecruiser shaking its booty says, hey boys, come over here. They're like, whoa. Stalkers kill battlecruiser. Stalkers kill battlecruiser. And the Widow Mines just absolute punish. Awesome bait there, Flo. GG, well played, mate. If you guys enjoyed this replay, don't forget to support. If you're on Twitch, you get to do things like post our lovely sewer mermaid. I love all the different combinations. We haven't been getting too much of Flo's head. Lately, it's been random faces on top. But yeah, do consider supporting Patreon. Links below in the description. Click like and subscribe. And if you want to hang out with the Twitch crew, watch live here. We are live most days from, 2 p.m. West Coast, 5 p.m. Eastern US time, 11 p.m. at night Central European. That's 10 p.m. UK time. or damn early in the morning if you're in Australia and Asia. However, that's going to be changing soon as daylight savings shifts due to the hemisphere changes. The stream's going to be 2 hours earlier. So if you guys, the timing hasn't been good for you, we're going to be live midday West Coast US. That means it's 3 p.m. East Coast US and 9 p.m. Central European, 8 p.m. UK time. So it's going to be a little bit earlier for all of you in the Northern Hemisphere in about a month's time when all the daylight savings swaps around. Hemispheres, I know, crazy. The time zones change. So drop by the stream if you guys have been a bit more YouTube focused lately. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time. Goodbye and good night.